A piece of Boston pork butt, and what we did is we bought it and cut it into about 3 or 4 pieces depending on the size. So we get 3 or 4 Rappies out of a $10 piece of meat. And gonna add some Lipton onion soup mix, beefy flavor. There we go, get it to fall down. And goes meat mix, soup mix, and then a cup of water. Alright. I'll put it on high probably, since we started a little late. If you start early in the morning, you put it on low, and we cook it until it's falling apart. Greased up the frying pan, and she's mixing up the mix, and I'm going to do one more batch. Okay, we're doing our last batch of diced up potatoes. I got 2 cups, a little over 2 cups. Gonna put it in the blender. There's some water in there to help it blend. We're gonna hit liquefy over the top. Where you hear that thing spinning free and easy like a Kawasaki engine, you know it's done. Pour it in the bag. I make this look easier than it's going to be if it's the first time. I've done this thousands of times. Okay, and we're just going to squeeze that. Now, when we were making Rappie pie in the old days, we do it all by hand, and we would squeeze the daylights out of the grated potatoes, which is where Rappie gets its name, Rappie, which means grated potato in French. And the reason that we're not going to squeeze it completely dry is because when you're remixing it with the blender, that won't work very well. We'll leave maybe a little bit of potato flavor, but my wife doesn't seem to mind. My dad thought it was the best Rappie he ever had, so. Well, one of the best, put it that way. He gave us seal of approval. Okay. Roll that water out. Pretty good. Gonna put it back in the blender. And what we're making today is not Rappie pie. I had one of the Rappie pie snobs correct me and saying that what you're making there is not Rappie pie. So I said, oh, that's fine, I'll accept the label of not Rappie pie over your Rappie soup. So you shut the crock pot off, and I'm going to pour. And when we're done with this, I'm going to pour the rest of it into the mix over there. We want to get all the flavor that we possibly can. A little bit of extra water isn't going to hurt. It will evaporate off. I'll put it in. And we're going to keep mixing. With the blender. And add this in. Okay. And Tammy's mixing. The frying pan's ready. And I'm going to start the pour. Pour it in one layer. Am I on? It's not camera. Got it. Okay. That's the second layer. More meat. And kind of towards the middle. Okay. More mix. Now when you get to the bottom, because we put heat on the pan, it's going to have cooked a little bit, but just a little bit, which is fine because we're going to use that to crust. And it's kind of good to have it crust up fast. That way it doesn't kind of spill over into the oven. And that's the last of the meat. Shut the burner off. More salt. There we go. Let me get the rest of this out. all of it. We work really hard to get it. So when you do this, make sure you wash your hands real good before you start, because you're going to use your hands a lot. And we're just going to seal this over. Okay. We didn't buy any extra potatoes because the potatoes were big. We felt we'd have enough. The piece of meat was a little bigger, a little smaller than it looked because they were bone. Okay, and it's ready to go in the oven. Oven is set to 375. We're going to get this in 2.5 hours. Puts it in, and presto, we're done. So a couple hours have gone by, and we're ready to take it out of the oven. There we go. What to do is just free it from the rivets. When we were kids, we made this, well, the parents made it in a black frying pan. And you don't think it was a lot of work to make it. It was just as much work to try and get it out of the pan. All right, so I broke it away from the rivets, and I'm going to move it to see. Oh, look at that spin. It's free. And we're just going to dump it right out on the glass platter. Get a knife. At the bottom. It's free and it's good. And we're going to let it cool a little bit. I'm going to cut it up into 6 pieces.